Hello everyone. I believe we are live. Welcome to the Meaningful Connection and Contribution. This is the small business edition of this series, and I'm really excited to do this with you all because, as you'll hear me say time and time again, I feel very strongly that a large part of what we are missing in this world, and a large part of what's causing us challenges, is that there's too much disconnection. There's too much action without meaning behind it. And so I'm really on a mission to help us feel more meaningfully connected so we can be more meaningfully contributing with ourselves, with the world. And that's through our business, that's through our parenting, that's through how we show up in our lives and our relationships. And so this small business edition is one avenue that I get to do that. And I'm blessed to have 10 amazing folks that are small business owners do that with me. And Rachel is one of them. And today she's going to be joining us, sharing with us a bit about herself and her business. So Rachel, do you want to just start out, share who you are and what you do, and we'll take it from there?
Sure. My name is Rachel Black, and I founded a company called RSB Solutions in 2010. We help our clients raise their visibility using physical products, whether it's promotional products, corporate gifts, apparel, displays, awards, from tchotchkes to high-end branded goods. And I had worked for 5 or 6 years before that for somebody else, learning the industry before I opened RSB Solutions. And my background before that was in the hotel business and recruiting. So it was always working with people and basically matchmaking, whether it was customer service from the hotel or matchmaking lawyers. Now it's matchmaking products.
I like that. I didn't even think of that as like a way to matchmake, but I like how you worded that. So then there's something in this for you around matchmaking and connecting with people. And so a big part of what the purpose of the series is to find out about you, the human behind the business, right? Because we do transactions in business. And of course, there's a time and place for that. You guys will hear me say that tons. But it's not meant to be all transactional, right? Like we are interacting with people. And when we're doing that in a transactional way, it over time, it just doesn't feel that great. So I'm curious, do you feel like the work that you do now and connecting it with matchmaking, does it feel fulfilling to you?
Oh, absolutely. So I start with the who, what, why, when, and where of what a client needs. And it entails a lot of listening and a lot of asking of questions to help really understand what they think their need is, and then processing what solutions I would have for them. And by listening and asking questions, we sometimes uncover a lot more in terms of their need than they thought, or we find obstacles that we need to overcome. And I, like you just said, really try to get to know the client a little more and the business a little more so that I can serve them well. And my goal is to make my client contact shine. So if we're doing a holiday gift, I want to come in under budget with a product that exceeds their expectation, delivered in a timely manner. So the recipients are thrilled and my contact looks golden. And that brings me great joy.
I was going to ask, like, what brings this meaning for you? Like, right? Like, what makes this meaningful for you? Because I can hear that there's passion in your voice while you're talking about this, right? But then someone listening could be like, it's physical products. We can buy physical products. Like, what about this makes it meaningful for you and the work that you do?
Well, again, a lot of it goes to the relationship. And so I'm actually sitting in the lobby of a hotel where I just attended a small regional trade show. And I do that to solidify my relationship with my suppliers, to see what's new, hot, and exciting out there. And if I have something to bring to the table, then my clients are better served. So I do these kinds of events and searching and building relationships several times a year, so that I can turn to a supplier and say, hey, I have a tight deadline. My client didn't really plan very well, and we need something next week, or we need something special and different from what the standard is. How can you accommodate us? And by building those relationships, I can say yes to my client. And again, that brings me immense joy.
What do you think makes these relationships matter, like beyond the transaction, right? But like, if say a client wants a certain physical product and either they can't find it or they can't find it in the right budget, and then they find their way to you and they connect with you, what is it about being able to work with them and interact with them or fulfill that need for them that makes it feel fulfilling for you? Does it connect with anything that you knew you wanted to be as you got older, that like you knew that you wanted to do in this world, or a job that you knew that you wanted to have, or are there any other connections for you that make it meaningful?
I'm not a surgeon or a rocket scientist or somebody who is really making a difference in this world, from a scientific or do good perspective. But by being able to make my clients' project easier, they do what they do in their profession, and I do what I do in my profession so that they can excel. And they're not experts in the promo world. They're not experts in swag. They're not experts in printing, or to understand the different calibers of product quality, or different types of apparel, or the huge variety of printing and all the minutia that is involved. So let me know that, learn that, excel at that, to let them do really what their job is. Because most of the people who are my contacts are in human resources, are executive assistants, are in marketing departments. And again, their specialty may be something else, but part of their job is to order the swag or the gift or the display or the award. And so I guess it's the customer service and the expertise that I provide to them that makes their jobs easier.
And you said something that I thought was powerful. You said, I'm not a surgeon, or, all these different labels that you use, but then I heard you go on to say that like you're supporting people in these different positions, and by supporting people in these different positions, it frees up their time, their space, their energy, right? Because now they don't have to go learn how to do X, Y, or Z to focus on what they're really good at. So
Right.
you're supporting them in being able to free up their time, space, and energy to focus on what they're good at, so that you can then do what you're good at. And I was thinking, but you know what? Like, surgeons do need, they if you go to a hospital, they often have like their logos, right? Like on
Right.
the materials, or they have it on like their bags, or their whatever. They have, it's all over. I'm thinking as you're talking, I'm like, she's saying she's not these things that are doing good, but she's saying that she's supporting these people that are doing good. So it's all like this web, right? Like it's all this web of interconnected. You're supporting, and therefore a part of that
Right.
web
Right.
of doing good,
Right.
Like,
So
in that way.
So we are very fortunate to have a number of universities, hospitals, insurance companies, mortgage companies, financial planners, just a lot of nonprofits, a whole lot of clients who are really impacting others. And it is my honor to to be able to help them represent their brand and do their work, and focus on that, what the work that they do, and look good doing it in a lot of cases. So yeah, we do a ton of apparel for hospitals, for universities, and other clients. Yeah, and they wear their brand right on their chest, on their sleeve, on their back, on their signage, all of that.
It may seem like something small, but together, when we think about how it's supporting different causes, because even beyond hospitals and larger places like that, even I know you shared with me before, in other arenas, that there's different causes that need products so that they can spread the awareness of their cause. Right. And if they're having a hard time doing that on their own, that can be stressful, but then you're able to support them in a budget friendly way.
Exactly. So, we have budgets that are very wide casting, and being able, like I said, to develop relationships with suppliers who might be willing to pass along special pricing. I just did a sponsorship with Einstein Jefferson for their golf outing and their walk. They're making strides. And I was able to do it because I had a relationship with the supplier, and it was important for me to put a quality product out there as well. So when somebody comes to me and says, just give me some ideas of something cheap, I said, you mean something that has good value? Sounds so simple, but the fact is, I don't sell cheap things. I may sell something that is provide something that's inexpensive or that fits their budget, but it's something that will show off their branding accurately, that hopefully will be useful, because we don't want to fill the landfill with stuff. We want to choose items that are useful, that show off the brand, and that hopefully will create goodwill, or be used to make somebody's life easier or productive or enjoyable. So
I like that. Like, it's not about just creating these physical products for the sake of creating these physical products, right? We want them to be something not just of quality, but of purpose,
of usefulness.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that you bring that perspective to the table, because I don't think everyone does. Again, if we're in the transactional mode, then it's like, I just want to get stuff sold, or I just want to get the products off the shelves, or whatever the case is. But I don't really get that message from you. It doesn't sound like that's
correct. So the other thing that I'm seeing in the industry is a lot more recyclable, repurposed. There's just so much more green thinking and so much more awareness of product material and waste and environmental care. All of those things, the promo industry has made a huge effort. I'm also very particular about what suppliers I use, so that I can support those efforts. So I know that, not only is the product good, but the imprint is good. The delivery is good. Something's going to show up when it's supposed to show up, and my clients therefore aren't in a pickle, even if they waited to the last minute. So, helping keep things green, keep things on schedule. There's a lot of minutia involved in what I do. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, that the relationships, getting to know the supplier, getting to know the client, and understanding the who, what, where, when, and why of their project or projects or the entire year is really important. So if I have a new client and they are perhaps a startup, I'll say, what does the next few months look like for you? What kinds of interactions are you going to have? Do you need a tablecloth? Do you need a backdrop? obviously, do you need business cards? Do you need a brochure? Are you going paperless and you're just going to use a QR code on items? I mean, that's the other angle. So to try to, we talked about, eco stuff, but also from a budgeting perspective, helping someone understand if you are attending a ton of trade shows or community activities or things like that, if you have the budget to order 2,000 pens instead of 100 pens 20 times, then that will benefit you. If you have to order 100 pens 20 times, then that's what you do. Sure. I have a hospital who orders 250 stress balls for their X-ray, their radiation or X-ray or something, and they order 250. I say to them, it would benefit you to order 500, but if you only want 250, then I'll just keep ordering 250 every couple months as you need them. So I do whatever they want to do.
Well, you're asking questions, right? And that's part of the relationship, we're again, not focusing on just getting things sold, but you're wanting to actually support the person and the business with what they need, which I think adds that relational element. So if we pull back the curtain a little bit, so we talked a little bit about the business and we can come back to that too. If you could let people know, like behind the business window, who this human is, who this Rachel is behind the business, what would you want them to know about you as a person and how you value showing up in the world, in your life, and just who you are, what you're interested in? Like, what are those 4 things you would like them to see, know, and hear about you as Rachel?
4 things. Well, my first is family. I have a fabulous husband, Andy, who has been my rock for 34 years. And I have 2 fabulous boys, Sam and Dan, and Sam is getting married to Sophia in October. So we have had nothing but joy these last few years with them and our expanding family. And I think community is number 2. I do volunteer work, not nearly as much as I used to do, but I do cook for a friend every month, where we make 150 to 200 meals that get delivered to those that need it. I was very active in Alzheimer's for 5-6 years and co-chaired something called Wine, Women, and Shoes, which was a fabulous event that we decided it ran its course, and working with the Alzheimer's Association filled a particular need for me when my father had Alzheimer's, and then my father-in-law, and now I take care of my aunt as her husband just died. So I don't have as much time to volunteer as much as I would like. So third, I guess taking care of the extended family, spending a lot of time with the needs that they have, which are extensive right now. And I think my fourth, my happy place is being at the shore and traveling. So we were lucky to buy an apartment right before COVID. So I try to get to the shore as much as possible. And I'm incredibly grateful that I have the kind of job that I can work anywhere, whether it's a hotel lobby or down the shore or from my car or from my home office. So I think finding that balance and making sure that I have the people around me in an environment that I feel positive is really important to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? I agree. Yeah. This is my thing. So I agree, finding a balance. It's nothing like what conventional wisdom says, 50-50 this or a piece of the pie, blah, blah, blah. None of that is actual balance. You kind of go with your ebb and flow, create that ebb and flow that works for you in any particular season of life. So I heard you in some of those 4 things that there's some time constraints maybe. And I know, one of the things that I've asked all of our guests to bring with them is something that I can support them with, because my contribution and my way of connecting is often with coaching or educating or mentoring in some way. And so I want to offer that, to extend that as well. So you tell me in your words, what's the area that we want to dive into today?
So I am a little bit of a control freak. My staff includes me, myself, and I. And sometimes we can only do so much so fast without giving up something else. So I have attempted to have folks come into the office and do some invoicing or following up on invoices or research, and they just don't do it the way I would do it. And somebody said to me recently, you can't grow until you can let go. And, I know that there's people out there who do what I do, who have a large staff. And I have a huge amount of conflict, because part of what all of what RSB Solutions is my expertise. And my conflict is making sure my clients still get the 200% customer service and quality and expertise. But also, when I research a product, when I go to a trade show, when I speak to a client, I learn something. So I'm conflicted because I don't want to give that up. But I'd love to be able to identify areas that I don't necessarily have to control. So that's my problem, is I guess it's a little bit of a control issue.
No, I think, you kind of in part started to maybe answer some of your own question, because you started out saying you've had some people come in doing things like invoicing, and then went on to share that you enjoy engaging with your customers, asking the questions, right? And so you want to find an area where you don't have to let that go, right? But is invoicing the same as those engaging interactions, or are they different?
No. I think part of it is just a matter of I remember what I said, the quote was, and that is probably the easiest thing to let go.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably one of those things. And then following up on the outstanding invoices, that I would say I can definitely let go.
So when you tried before, what happened?
I didn't really have anyone doing the actual invoicing. I just had them, follow up if things were outstanding.
Okay.
And I had a virtual assistant to do some things, and I actually had attempted to have somebody do some social media, which is probably another area that's not my greatest strong point, that I could probably let go, but I don't.
Doing that right now? Are you already doing social media?
Mm-hmm,
You are,
mm-hmm.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's something you're trying to add on. It's something that you're already doing.
Yeah. It's something that I already do. And I think my solution, which again fits in with my, I don't know what the right word is. One of the other things is I really like to put my clients forward. Mm-hmm. So a way to accomplish some of my social media goals and put my clients forward is to promote my clients and to share their posts and or post about them. Because I don't want to post about me all the time. I'm not one of those people, oh, look at me, I'm at this event, or look at me, I'm doing this. And that's not it. And I don't want to post product all the time. Here's a water bottle with your logo on it. So I think finding that balance of posting some product content and putting others forward works for me. And a little bit of personal.
if we go to the original challenge of, kind of delegating a bit there and letting go, would you say that in any other area of your life that it's hard to let go of things that you do or hard to trust other people?
I don't think I have a trust issue. Is that where you're going?
You don't need to label it an issue, just we're noticing if there's any patterns. So are there any other areas of your life where you are used to having things done a certain way, you're used to doing things a certain way, and it's been, harder to let go, or it's been frustrating if you tried to let someone else do it, or you've just been
No, because, I generally pay the bills, personally, I pay the bills in my house. If my husband says a bill came in, I'm going to pay it. I'm like, feel free, go for it. He said, making dinner, I want to make dinner, go for it. Feel free. You want to run laundry? Feel free. I think that there are some situations where only having one hand in the pot does make things safer, more controlled, easier to follow up. So for example, I took care of my aunt and uncle's financials. They have no children. My brother and I are primarily it. And so I manage all of their financials, and my uncle had a fatal heart attack and died suddenly last September. And my aunt has Alzheimer's. So there's stuff that I'm
to keep it together. It sounds like you're used to being the manager of it all. You're good at that. It's
right.
Yours. You're gifted in that area. So would you consider yourself a patient person or a not so patient person?
Incredibly patient.
Would you consider yourself someone who likes to communicate openly and values communication, or someone that maybe struggles more with communicating openly and clearly?
I think I over communicate.
Okay, so this is good information for us to have, because what I hear you saying is you've identified at least one thing that will be easy for you to let go, which is invoicing. And you initially said you had tried that, but it sounds like you haven't fully.
Yeah, I didn't really try that. Right.
Fully committed to that. So that's one you can fully commit to. And if you know that you're a patient person and you're going to practice that, and you communicate to the point of maybe sometimes over communicating, then what you have there is the opportunity to document how you do the invoicing, right? So document how you do the invoicing, and then provide that to whomever the person is that you bring on to do the invoicing, and practice that patience that you pride yourself on as they learn it.
Right.
Right. Even without you always being there, because if it's documented, and by document, I don't just mean writing it down. Bullet pointing it is one thing, but also videoing it is another, because everyone's a different kind of learner.
Right.
Right. So having the way that you want it done and documenting that, and then using those two pieces that you value of patience and communication, and then holding yourself to that initial one that you identified. Starting with one is more than enough.
Okay.
Right. Starting with one is more than enough. And you've identified that's going to be the easiest one for me to let go of. And you already have a system, it sounds like, in place that you've used. So you've got communication on your side, you've got patience on your side, and you've got the willingness to let go of that one thing. How does that feel to start with just that base part?
You can't grow until you let go. So
does it feel like maybe that's possible?
Yeah, I think that's very realistic. It's very achievable.
Awesome. And that's what you want, right? It's clear, it's realistic, it's achievable, and it's something that you're like, I want this. I want this, right? And when you do that, you're going to gain experience about what worked and what didn't. So when you go to do that with something else, now you have even more information.
Right.
Before you go into that.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I'm really trying to figure out what else I can delegate. And I'm guessing that the next option might be the social media.
And I would say write that down, but don't put the cart before the horse. Don't try to delegate a ton of things. If we start out like, it's hard for me to delegate, and then you're like, but I'm a doer, so I'm going to delegate all of these things. Now there's a big gap between where you're at and where you're trying to go. And if you just leap over that mountain too swiftly, it's going to feel very frustrating.
Right.
So write the other one down so you have that to come back to reference, but start with one.
Right. Well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. You know, one of the other things that I was really trying to focus on is being able to shut off and put my phone away. And if even though I can work anywhere, being present and being in the moment. So I'm very proud that I've been doing that. Sometimes.
Good for you. Well, it's a practice, right?
Right.
Right. We have 1 minute left. Rachel, is there anything that you would like to share with any of the folks listening in, either about yourself or your business, in case they want to contact you, maybe the best way to reach you or anything else?
Sure. So our focus in terms of growing is preferably mid-sized to larger corporations, universities, financial services, all of those kinds of business. But that being said, we are always happy to work with small businesses, especially if you're rebranding or just starting, and we can walk you through what works best for your needs. Again, listening to the who, what, where, when, and why of what you think you need, and hopefully identifying the best solutions for your project or company opening or rebranding. We do have a website. It's www.rsbsolutionsllc.com. I answer my phone. My phone number is 215-880-1603. My email is Rachel, Rachel, at rsbsolutionsllc.com. We're also on social media at RSB Solutions LLC.
Beautiful.
And I think that's it.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing with us, being open with us. We appreciate it. And everyone out there that's listening, thank you for being with us as well. If you gained anything from this or you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments section below. This will be live on my page for about 24 hours. After 24 hours, it'll be taken down and put on my YouTube channel, Bold and Balanced with Dr. Toni. And there you'll be able to share the link with anyone that's going to benefit from contacting and connecting with Rachel. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for your insights. Always appreciate it.